Welcome again to this class. We are very happy that you have taken a step to learn Photoshop. And as a matter of fact, when it comes to getting the most out of Photoshop with the least amount of effort, there are two things we absolutely need to know: how to use layers, how to use keyboard shortcuts. Layers keep our work flexible, while keyboard shortcuts help us to complete our goal as quickly as possible. In these tutorials, I have combined the two and rounded up Photoshop Essential Keyboard shortcuts for working with layers. Learning these powerful shortcuts will increase your productivity. They will boost your confidence as you take a leap forward on the road to Photoshop. Let us get started. The first shortcut we will deal with and hide the layers panel. By default, Photoshop layers panels appear in the column along the right screen. So as you can see, this is the Photoshop panel. This is where it's located. But if you want to open it, Photoshop. So for mine, I have modified how the arrangements look like. You can show or hide the layer panel by pressing F7. So our first shortcut is F7. F7. So you press F7 on your keyboard. That's the function key 7. And you see that the layer panel will pop up. When I press F7 again, layer panel will go. When I press F7 again, the layer panel will go. So that is the first shortcut. Second shortcut is naming a new layer. So let us open the panel F7. We're going to create a new layer and then name it. So what we will do is we will click on the new layer, click on add new layer. We will click on this one. Then it will create a transparent layer here. So we are going to rename this. Now click on the add new layer. This is what happened. Photoshop will create a generic name, which is layer 1. This is generic name. Anytime you want to create a Photoshop layer with your own name without a generic name, what you do is you hold the Alt key plus the new, okay? Then you get a dialog box. This is the new layer dialog box. Type the name for the layer. Say um shape layer, or let's say shape layer. Shape layer and then click OK. So check this layer. You see this one is a generic name and the one we created right now is with the name you gave. Okay, this is the name we gave. So most often if you don't want to do double work, like you create and then you rename it, then when you are creating it, just follow the step. Press the Alt key and hold the Alt key and then press the create new layer. That's all. The next one you'll deal with creating a new layer from the keyboard. So if you don't want to use the Alt key plus create new layer, you can use the keyboard shortcut to create it. Or Shift plus Control plus N, and then the new layer will come. So this one will give you the dialog box. Shift plus Control plus N. Then you get it. Then you give the name, say test layer. Okay. If you don't care about the layer name, then Shift Control Alt N. That one will create the generic name as well. So we have the layer 1 here. That one will create the layer 2. So generic name. Okay. If you want to copy a layer or copy a selection to a new layer, you will press. So I want to copy this layer. Let me turn on this one. I want to duplicate this one or copy it. So what I will do is I will make a copy of this layer by pressing Ctrl plus J, Ctrl plus J. Then you get a copy. So this is the first copy. See, color field copy. Let's see if you want to create with it. So when you press Ctrl Alt J, that one will allow you to give it a name so that you will not keep the name like color field copy. So you can give it a name, say blue background. That is it. So this one will not give a generic copy name. This one will allow you to create your own name. We want to copy a layer while moving it. So we want to copy it. So if you want to copy a layer while moving, to copy it, you move the layer at the same time and first select the layer you need. So from the panel, so I want to copy this layer. Okay. Let me create something. Let me create a new layer and then fill it with a color. Uh, I want to, let's say, copy this layer, the new layer I've created. So what I will do is I'll hold the hotkey. Okay, so you see the cursor has changed now, and then drag it up to create a copy. Now you see this one was layer 3, so the new copy is layer 3 copy. Okay, when I hold the hotkey again and then layer 3 copy. So we have all these layers. That is it. So we are going to create a new layer below the current selection. Press and hold the control key, then you click on the add new. So this one will create a generic new layer beneath the active layer. This one was the active layer. So I created a new generic layer by holding the control and then the create. It will create below. But if you don't hold the control key, it will create above. So let's see. When I create this, it will create above. But if you hold the control key, it will create below like this one. Okay. If you don't want to create a generic name, what you do is you press Control Alt and then the new. It will create beneath. Okay, so give it a name, Ghana. You see, it didn't go up, it's below now. So if you want to select all the layers, okay, if you want to select all the layers, what you do is press Control Alt A and you see all the layers will be selected. Control Alt A, all the layers will be selected. Now this background is not my default background, that's why it was selected. If we were working with a default background, this one will not be selected. Okay, all the rest of the layers will be selected, but this one will not be selected. So that is how you can select all the layers. Now another way of selecting a layer is if we want to select, let's say, from this layer to this layer alone. Okay, you activate this layer first, you click on it to activate, then you hold the shift key, then you press the layer you want to select. Okay, hold the shift key and then press, it will select all the layer within that range. So that one will select the layer within the range. Okay, and if you want to, let's say, let me activate this. If you want to select the layer up, okay, what you do is bracket open, that's the left bracket for down, and then you use the right bracket for up. Okay, that one will give you for the up. Hold to select some of them. You hold the control key. So I'll activate this. So I want to select this one. Hold the control key, then click on this one, and click on this one. As you can see, I've selected some of the layers. Okay, scroll through the layers. You hold the hotkey and then use the left bracket key for down movement. So you see, I am moving through using the keyboard. You press and hold the hotkey and then the bracket left or bracket open for the down. And if you want to go up, hold the hotkey and then bracket up. The left right bracket or bracket close for up movement. That is if you want to scroll through. If I want to move this layer, okay, the shortcut layer beneath the yellow circles, what I will do is I will hold the control key, then I will use the left, bracket left to move it. You see it is going down, so it is now beneath these layers. Okay. If I want to bring it up the layers, what I will do is I will hold the control key, then I will use bracket close or bracket left to move it up. You see the other one. Jump to the first layer, okay. So if you want to jump directly to the first layer, this is our first layer. You hold the shift control and then bracket close or bracket right. If you want to go to the bottom of the layer, shift control bracket left or bracket open. All right. Hide a layer. So let's say we want to hide a layer. So this is our layer. Okay. You want to hide this layer. You click on the eye to hide it. But you want to hide everything on the layer except the press the hotkey, then you click on the eye and you see it will turn off all the layers except the selected layer. When I click on it again, let's see. So let me use this one. I want to turn off all the layers. So what I'll do is I'll hold the hotkey and then click on the eye. See, all the layers are now hidden except this one. Okay. If you want to select a content of a layer, so if I want to select a content of this layer, what I will do is I hold the control key and then click inside the thumbnail. This one will select the content of that layer. Okay. Now if you want to group layers, okay, if you want to group layers, what you do is you will select the layers. Now you know how to select it. So I want to group all these layers into shape layer. So I will select this layer. Then I'll press Ctrl J. It will group them. So this is what we have. It has grouped the layer. If you want to rename the layer, you will double click on the layer and then you give it a name, shapes. This is what we have. So this is the group. If you want to ungroup it, you press Ctrl Shift J to ungroup it. If you want to group it again, Ctrl J. Okay, that's what we have. Now let's go to merging layers. Merging layers. To merge a layer with the layer directly below. So if I want to merge these layers, okay. If I want to merge the layers, if I merge this layer, so I want to merge these three. What I'll do is I'll hold the control plus the E key, control plus E, control plus E, and you see it has merged that layer into one. It has merged the layer into one. But you see, this layer has the rectangle layer has taken the property of the top layer. That is the color of this layer. So if you want to avoid that, what you can do is you have to rasterize all this layer. So what you do is you rasterize the layers. Rasterize, rasterize, rasterize. So let us go and merge all the three and see if the colors will be merged together. So we are going to get Control U. Now see the first one, the rectangle took the color of this one. By the current one, the rectangle is not taking that color again because we have rasterized it. So now let's see. We have one object now. See, we have one object. All right. Create a clipping mask. So let's see. If you want to create a clipping mask, we know you can. Uh, let's use this one. If you want to create a clipping mask, we know you right click and then go to clipping mask. But if you want to use the keyboard shortcut, what you do is you hold the Alt key, then you see you place the cursor between the current layer and then the layer you want to clip. Okay, so hold the Alt key and then click to create the clipping mask. All right. If you want to unclip it, you hold the Alt key again, then you place it there and to unclip it. You don't want to use the mouse. If you want to use the keyboard straight, you press Ctrl Alt J and it will create the clipping mask. You see, now this is our clipping mask. So this is the clipping mask we have. So if you want to unclip it, you hold the Ctrl Alt J and it will unclip it. If you want to delete a layer, you can press the backspace to delete it. So you see it has deleted. Backspace to delete all the layer, or you can press delete key. The delete key is here. Delete all the layers. Lock the current layer. Okay. If you want to lock it, you can press the forward slash and it will be locked. When you press again, it will be off. Forward slash forward slash. Now if you want to delete a layer, if you want to delete a layer without a confirmation, so you want to delete this layer without any confirmation, what you do is you hold the Alt key and then you click on the delete. You delete it without confirmation. Okay. Thank you for joining us. So this is basically all the keyboard shortcuts you need to know when working with Photoshop. When you know all these keyboard shortcuts off head, it means that you can work with Photoshop easily without any difficulty. Do wait to subscribe to this channel because we have a lot for you. More information is coming for you. This channel is for you. Follow us and then subscribe. Subscribe.